when did your third eye open to all of this? While you were incarcerated?
You get sharper when you're incarcerated because you ain't got nothing else to do.
Being still.
But you get. I think you get a little sharper, because, they say as our age progress, we get wiser. So as you see things going, you get wiser.
Not as a rule.
But that's what they say. It doesn't have to happen for everybody because some people is dumb as a brick still. But my thing is this, you're supposed to have stability. You're supposed to have stability and eyesight of where your life is going in your 30s. If you don't have that, then you're struggling.
Yes.
Because you can't wait till you're 60, 70 years old and say, I think I'm seeing the light. The light's almost over. The way they kill motherfuckers now, the light getting get turned off. So
that's real serious, man.
Yeah, it's real though.
As men in the space that we are in this journey, we have that perspective because we've made it this far. Trying to import that insight into someone who can't imagine what 60 years on this planet looks like. It's
a blessing to get there.
They can't imagine what it looks like if they're 20 years old, so it's difficult for them to understand that when you start talking in a way where you're, speaking more to caution and speaking more to responsible behavior and speaking more to thinking about the things you're doing now and not just the impact they're having on your circumstances now, but also what those same decisions will have, what impact they'll have on your future, right? The decision you made in 1984, you grew to understand by 1994, 2004, that this situation I'm experiencing right now was directly impacted by a decision I made in 84 when I wasn't even considering this.
I did 21 years. So if I did 21 years, the decision I made to get down and dirty cost me 21 years. I miss my kids growing up, and that hurts me the most because my children are special to me. And my son gets on me all the time because he's pissed at me, and he has the right to be. But I always tell him, I didn't abandon you. I was taken from you. It's a big difference. I would have never left your side. I used to go see him every night or every other night when he was a baby because I used to like to wake him up when he was sleeping. But my thing is this. Like you said, the decision you make could cost you later on the rest of your life. And that's the truth. And you have sex with a girl and she gives you AIDS. You got that the rest of your life. Unless, there is a cure for all that, but they don't tell you about it. I know there's cures.
Absolutely.
But the whole thing is, your decision-making has to be better. And that's where it's not being done more so now. Because these young girls is having all these babies when they're young. I know you love kids. You love children. I love children till they get older and start acting their mouths. But anyway, but you done ruined your life. You ain't gonna be able to do nothing no more. You got 3 kids, you in the house, and it's hard. So now, all your life you dreamed about, I want to go to Dubai. I want to go to Hawaii. You ain't gonna do that. Your money don't call for it. Your hand don't call for that unless you rich. So that's why the dudes that come home from jail, most of these dudes come home messed up because there's no background for them, no backbone. There's nobody to help them out. And nobody's trying to help them out.
And they never really were a part of society. A lot of them, you talk about, when I was, before the pandemic, when I was going into the prisons and working in there 5 days a week, 12 hours a day, I was in there with them. So this was my prison experience. And I'm an analytical person, so I'm paying a particular level of attention to the psycho-emotional impact that this daily existence that some of them have gotten quite accustomed to.
But you were still able to go home.
Right. And that was something I was never able to separate myself from. I was never able to separate myself from the fact that I could, at any moment, barring anything going on, because if something happens while you're in there, you're stuck in there, right? But barring anything like that, I could get up in the middle of this class right now, walk out of here, and never come back here again, and nobody can say anything except for the people who gave us the money.
There was a dude, right? But there was a dude. He did 8 years in jail. He did the whole 8 around me. So when he was going home, he came to me and said, yo, Unc. I said, what's up? He was from Staten Island. I said, yo, what's up? He said, yo, what am I going to do when I get home? You got somewhere where I could get a job? I said, you wait till now to ask somebody this? And my man clowned him.
I guess that wasn't cool conversation topic prior to that.
And my man clowned him. Said, hey, you know what you could do? You could get you a squidgy, go in Midtown and wipe all the windows down. You get paid. He's like, you know what he said? And he was joking. You know what he said? Hey, that's not a bad idea. And I looked at him like, oh my God, he's lost. He'll be back. Because you thought that was a good idea? You going to do squidgy work?
Well, maybe he had an expanded perspective of it. Maybe he thought about the fact that Manhattan has the most amount of windows of most any damn city. So if you can get you a couple of contracts, you're talking about thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars. Maybe that's what he was thinking.
After you did that time, that's what you want to do. You might as well go to McDonald's and work and say, hey, when I get promoted to fries, I'll be good.
Well, I wouldn't think he was going to try to wash him himself. you get a team of people like yourself who just came home and can't get employed.
He's the type of person going to wash it himself. I know.
Oh.
But the whole thing is it's just crazy out here, man. You know, so it is what it is.
I mean, people just gotta, the thing with this particular interaction, this particular section of what we're talking about, this was an opportunity to try to import something, with a practical application. It's cool to listen to the stories and they're entertaining and they take you away from your reality, whatever it might be for the period of time you're watching. But if all you can come away with after giving this much of your time and your attention to something is some anecdotes and some stuff that you can now go to your social media and talk about and comment on like something, which is what a lot of them do. They get on, they watch us, and then they go on to other platforms and other pages and they start interjecting their commentary as though they know what they're talking about because they've listened to men like us have conversations.
I ask God all the time, right? Why am I able to be depressed? Because depression is for everybody. It's hitting everybody, especially now. The pandemic made it worse. But why am I able to endure more pain than these other people that just go and kill themselves or thinking suicide thoughts and all that? And experience.
Yes.
That's the answer.
Yes.
Experience of going through things and able to adjust in your life. Everything you do, you have to adjust. Everything's not going to be peaches and cream. So you have bad days, you have bad months, you have bad years. But if you're not able to, going back to a prosecutor when he's able to put us in jail, but when the shit hit the fan on him, he ain't able to go to jail. You have to build your body, mind, and soul to where you're able to deal with catastrophes.
That's right.
The same way you deal with the Bravo stuff.
That's right.
Be prepared for the worst because the worst happens too.
That's
and
right.
and what is the worst? Everybody could look in the mirror. What is the worst? Because everybody has their worst opinion. So the worst could be, I lose my house. The worst could be, I lose my job. The worst could be, I could lose my parents. Anything could be the worst to you. But you have to build a force field, like Star Trek, when they used to say, Captain Kirk, this force field is down. The same thing happens to your body. So you have to say, okay, Peter Shue, the force field is down. Okay, what will Captain Kirk do? You got to do something to fix it. And that's what people don't realize in their lives. So they just be like, I'm going to get by this. And it's hard. It's really hard. And I've been there, so I know what the people, listen, man, I did 21 years straight, 21 years, 8 months straight. They tried poisoning me in jail. I died twice. They had to bring me back. My mother died. All in the same 20-something years. To me, you couldn't do worse unless you just took me off the earth. See what I'm saying? But I had to, okay, I got the 21 years. How I'm going to do this? Okay. I work out religiously, which I did. Stay sucker free, which I did. Learn to write movies, which I did. Stay off of that BET, calling people. The DNM will tell you, I don't call nobody because I don't want nobody to say, yo, Shue, we just went to that Black Tie Fair for Open Dope. They had the baddest girls. Meanwhile, I'm in there doing 21 years. Oh yeah, thank you. Thanks for that. So I had to
send me some pictures.
Yeah, I got to shut all that down. I don't even want the pictures because then I started getting stressed. So what I did, I had to train my mind to just exercise for health. I can't be a drug dealer no more. Learn to write movies.
What does you mean learn to write movies?
Well, George Jung taught me how to write movies for Blow.
Learn to write movies.
Learn to write movies. George Jung, the movie
yes,
Blow.
I know, Blow. Yeah.
He taught me how to write screenplays.
What did they call George? Dirty George, Sticky George.
Well, he became before I knew him. He wasn't. When I knew him, I didn't know he was a rat. I found out he was a rat years later, but I had disassociated myself with him.
Now that you've mentioned the amount of time you've done, let's talk a bit about how you got that amount of time, because you had 2 trials,
3 trials,
3 trials,
2 hung juries.
2 hung juries.
They cheated.
2 situations where a jury could not uniformly conclude that you were guilty of what the government was charging you with. Mm-hmm. And that the point that you had the second hung jury, an offer was made to you.
All 3 times it was made.
So what was the offer?
The first one
and
was
why didn't you take it?
Because
what was the offer?
The first one was 17 years. Now, I got arrested on something called reverse sting.
Reverse sting.
Now, reverse sting.
That's when somebody tries to buy drugs from you. They act like they want to buy drugs.
No, they were selling drugs to me. The federal government
right. I'm
supposed to sell drugs to me. Now, to me, which is illegal. And now they're saying it's illegal now, after I did all that time. But
so to entice a person and say, hey, I've got drugs. I've got great drugs at a good price. A person that I think this is probably more likely now to happen. A person that doesn't have any involvement in drugs, but at this point, everybody knows how much money can potentially be made in drugs. So anybody might look at that as an opportunity. Well, I'm just going to do this. They got him for that. I'm going to just do this real quick. I'm going to turn right around and give him to Pete. Pete got him. Pete know how to move it.
Or if there's a drought. You're scrambling to grab anything to keep your blocks down.
Oh, yeah, boy.
So I needed
that drought had motherfuckers making some very bad decisions.
So what happened was...
Those droughts.
I couldn't believe that I could get convicted. And DeLorean, the car dude, he had the same actual case with actual drugs in the case.
In the suitcase.
And he never got convicted. Now, because I'm, whatever you want to call me, black or Chinese or whatever.
You know you got one drop of this great melanated blood in you, baby. You got the whole package.
They killed
black.
No, but I'm not. I had to say that because I wasn't white. So they what they did to me, they railroaded me my 3rd trial because I had 2 hung juries, and it's a lot to it. I could go on and on about this, but we have so much to talk about. I'm gonna keep it short. But the whole thing is, I didn't believe that you could get a reverse. You could go to jail for entrapment, and that's what the name of it is. Entrapment.
That's right. It is.
So after the first hung jury, the second hung jury, they offered me 5 years. So I said no, because now if I get one more hung jury, they have to throw the case out or give me income tax evasion. So I shot the dice, and I lost, and I ended up getting 20-something years. But the whole thing is, I wouldn't have changed it any other way because I know deep down inside in my heart, a reverse thing was illegal, and now they're saying it's illegal. So you can't.
Doesn't that put you in a position where you can sue them?
Nah, because it's not retroactive. It would probably be now, so you could. They can't do it, but they're not going to keep themselves open for the left hook for this lawsuit. But anyway, that's what happened to me. That's why I fought. Now, if I would have been dead and stinking, I probably took some time.
Explain to people what dead and stinking means.
I mean, they got me like this,
from our
with the drugs in my hand like this. I'm on the camera. You know what I'm saying?
They called DeLorean.
Yeah.
Because he was on camera with the case, cocaine in it.
I might have looked at the 5 years and took it. I wouldn't have took that 17. That's for damn sure. Because if I could do 17, I might as well do the 21. But when they got to the 5, I didn't take it because of that. And people was like, Peter, why you didn't take that 5? But,
yeah, we always saying that.
Everybody's saying it, but the whole thing is, you have to look at the whole picture. Yes. Reverse thing was illegal. I knew that in my heart. Because if I told the judge, I'll go to jail, but you got to take the police to jail too. Because if I pretended to be a drug dealer, I mean, if I'm a drug dealer, then they can't be pretending to be a drug seller. They had to be a drug seller. So let's all go to jail. I told her that.
That's right.
It's on the record.
That would be under any other circumstances, that would be called a conspiracy, brother.
I ain't got no problem going with them. We all go because they could never sell me drugs. There was never no drugs. That's why there's a new case out now. We're waiting to see what happens with 841 was illegal because you have to know the actual drug and you have to know that it's that drug. I might have known that it was supposed to be cocaine, but I didn't know. I don't know if that's what they bought. They could have bought oregano to the scene of the crime. You understand? And that's what the case is out there now saying. You have to be not just know that you're going to buy cocaine. You have to know that there is cocaine and it's not fake cocaine or nothing. And I was not able to do that. You see what I'm saying?
Right. So, and you're talking, when you say case out there right now, you're talking about the situation that occurred a little while, I guess about 3 years ago now?
No, 2 months ago a case came out. They still researching it for me. I forgot the name. United States versus somebody. It's Supreme Court. This Mr. Thomas, because he's giving a leave. He said all 841s is illegal. So if that's true, and they look at that, everybody went to jail in 841s. So if that's true, and mine is even more so, because other 841s have actual drugs or have something to coexist where they had drugs on them before. They didn't never have drugs on me. These are some new people, which is the police. They never came with no drugs. I never could have been able to see that I was getting cocaine because it's not cocaine. There's nothing there. They couldn't prove that what I did in the past reflected to this because they didn't know me from the past. So if me and you did drug deals back in the day, they don't know that. They have no nothing to go with. It doesn't relate to this case. And that's why if that's good, then I got a lawsuit they have to pay me for 20-something years, but I got to wait till these people do that, analyzing it and see if it affects me. Because the arrest thing is definitely a bad charge.
I mean, it's enticement. So do you know how much approximately a case costs the government to prosecute? What are them numbers like? You have any idea?
To prosecute me? Like anybody? No, I don't know. I don't know how much it costs them to prosecute people, but
it can be up.
It's up there.
It's easy. It can upwardly of
it's up there.
$1 million.
It's up there. That's why they try to get you to take a plea. You know, they try to take a plea, a cop out, and to go to trial.
You cost them a lot of money. Bro.
To go to trial, I think their winning percentage is 99 point something. They don't lose. So I was the first one to ever have a hung jury in Long Island. You know, so I could stand up and get saluted for that. Who cares?
Right.
I was the first one to have 2 hung juries in Long Island.